Hi, good evening, everyone. I will call the March 23rd, 2003 meeting of the Newtown 2026 meeting of the Newtown Township Board of Supervisors to order. I will note that the board did meet in executive session where we discussed the following personnel matters. One discussion related to the potential police hiring and the discussion of the potential accounting hires. With that being said, Mr. Neese, can you please do the roll call?
Altieri.
Here.
Mr. Altieri.
Here.
Mr. San Francesco.
Here.
Ms. Chanlis. And Ms. Grasso.
Here.
Mr. Russo.
Here.
Your engineer, solicitor, and manager are here.
Perfect. Now we'll move down to section 4, which is the moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. For the moment of silence, I ask that since we were not here for the last meeting, keep in mind the family of Corporal Timothy O'Connor Jr., who's the Pennsylvania State Police officer who passed away, I guess, a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago. And now we'll stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Section 5, agenda 5.1. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved. Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor San Francesco, seconded by Supervisor Russo. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Section 6, public comment for agenda items only. If there's any members of the public who wish to provide any public comment on an agenda item, please go to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Gabrielle, can you just make sure that microphone's on? Is it?
No. Testing?
Hi, everybody. My name is Gabrielle Bruno. Nice to meet some of you. 116 Stony Brook Boulevard. Greetings in the name of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I have a few public comments for agenda items 15, 13, and 10. And I'm sure Leonard will correct me if it's something I should email as opposed to state at the microphone. For agenda item number 13, about closing out Lister 13.2. I just wanted to comment, I believe that we have been told that they would be planting some mature trees around the property so that we wouldn't be seeing so many of the houses. And I ask you to consider that before closing out whatever that would be with Lister. It doesn't appear that any mature trees were planted. I know this was probably years ago when it started, probably before some of the board was there. But I don't know if you've taken that into consideration before closing out their escrow release. That was that there was going to be mature trees planted along the border to replace the trees that they took down when they began that development. For agenda item number 14.2, my apologies. For agenda item number 14.2 regarding the Once Upon a Run 5K, I received a call from Cindy Young. I'm going to be calling you back. I was sick over the weekend. I apologize. I lost my voice. And I know that there's been approval from the township, waiting for approval from PennDOT. I just wanted to make sure you all were on notice that area, there have been trees falling there. The sidewalk is in need of major repair. It's not even ADA compliant. I brought another township engineer to look at it. It's more than an inch in disarray. I showed that to Mr. Neese when we met in December. Leonard, I think my mom's made you aware of that, but I just wanted to make sure you all were aware before inviting potentially, I don't know, dozens, hundreds of people to run on that street, that the sidewalk is not even ADA compliant, in need of disrepair, and a danger to the community. And additionally, we've had trees fall. Even just last week, I was driving by and there was somebody cleaning up a tree that had fallen. I did inquire if he was from the township. He was not. I inquired if he was from a property owner. He was not. He said, well, I live on Bishop Hollow. I drove by. I noticed that the township cleared the sidewalk, but there was tree falling on both sides, and I was just getting some firewood. So I don't know what that would be like with a lot of people running on that street, especially given what I thought would have been the moment of silence, the person who died last week in Newtown Township from the tree that fell, Gilberto, something like that. So I ask you all to consider that before moving forward with the run. In addition, none of the residents, at least on our portion of Stony Brook, were even inquired. We have a neighbor, one of your ex-girlfriends who's pregnant and due around that time, and if she needs to get out. So I do ask that you consider that. For agenda item number 10. Okay, just a few quick questions that I hope, I think now's the time, you'll correct me if I'm wrong. The residents do thank our police officers. You're very, very kind and brave, and congratulations to Officer Michael Martin. But my question for the police, regarding the new hire for the board, I don't know who it would be. We're really excited to have a new policeman, whoever they are, we certainly welcome them. Is it a person that's local to Newtown Township, a resident? I know in the past that was something we considered, was whether they were a resident of Newtown Township, serving Newtown Township. Obviously we need protection and we thank the police, but I do wonder if that's something you might expand upon. And then also, for the reports, I was trying to follow the reports, and perhaps Chief Lunn, if you could address maybe some trends instead of just how much crime was this week, like comparing it to a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that would be something helpful in the reports from a resident's perspective to see if it's more crime or less crime. For agenda item 10.2, well, I'll just skip that for the sake of time. And then for agenda items 10.4 and 10.6, I was trying to read through the memorandums from the engineering department and the codes department, and we can't seem to figure out what the Sony Knoll development is. That's a 17-lot subdivision. It's in this report, in the codes report, and perhaps he could elaborate so we could know what that 17-lot subdivision is, as well as for Marville. There's the outdoor recreation and the memorial hall and logistics, and we just aren't seeing like what that's going to be, and we'd be very curious just to know what that's going towards. And finally, I did mention the Stony Brook retaining wall that you should know there's parts of it that the stones are broken. You can lift them up, they're sticking out, so you should come take a look. I'd be happy to meet with you, Mr. Neese, and look at it in person. For the that was most of it. And then finally, for 10.4 in the zoning report, there's a comment about 7 Campus Boulevard, the application. And I'd be wondering if he could expand upon it so we could kind of find out, rather than piecemeal, as the items seem to be going before the Planning Commission piecemeal. This week is 11, 15, and 17, and then on the 23rd is 7. Is there a way that we can know what that conditional use application is so we could be aware of what the overall agenda is, like you took into consideration when you rezoned that 90 acres? I believe that were most of my comments, and I thank you for your time. And again, I congratulate Officer Michael Martin, and I thank you all for your service.
Any other public comment for agenda items? Preferably not every single item.
John Butler, 208 Hunter's Run. 102 Hunter's Run. The code report. I find it quite disturbing because it's basically saying we're going to be possibly approving the 250 senior homes on Campus Boulevard next month. And normally it would go much longer. It says that you have a time limit, and we just changed the zoning just the other month. And normal planning, I think, is much longer than that. There's a lot of issues on traffic, sewer capacity in that area. And I think that when we left the planning meeting, I mean, when we changed the zoning, the idea was that we wouldn't be seeing anything happen. And we had a newsletter went out this month, no mention about 250 homes. The EAC, they asked when they would be seeing some plans, and basically they were told there was nothing pending. And then down on Campus Boulevard 7 and Bishop Hollow 335, what is going in there? And that's coming up real quick too. And we have a tenant down there. He's got a 6-year lease. Is he going to be evicted? And also the overflow parking where the ball fields are using that parking lot. So if the plan is to take that building down, where are the people going to park for the ball fields? There is no room. And they're parking on the grass there right now. And I don't think the public has any idea what's going on there. I have no idea. We live right in Hunter's Runs, right across the street. And if it's going to be that hospital or something, there's going to be a major impact. So you also have a traffic study that should be done and also the sewer capacity, because there's only a limited amount of capacity the new town purchased about 10 years ago. I have a real concern about that. But the public really has no idea what's going on there. And I think you should be more open about that. I like the idea that you put the number of tons being collected on recycling. I'd like to know the cost per ton, because I'm trying to do a study of what it's costing different towns. And basically what I'm looking at, it looks like it's very expensive here. We have to get the cost down, and we're really 60 tons, I think 80 tons the other month. And the amount that I see on the voucher is, it would be very substantial cost per ton of what we're collecting. We have to get more tonnage. We have to get the numbers down, the dollars down.
Any other public comment? All right, perfect. We're going to go a little bit out of order because I don't want to hold the police officers up. So we're going to go down to 9.1 presentations. Chief Lunn.
Leonard,
Oh, sorry about
just one
that.
more.
You're not a resident though.
I am not, but I'm on the agenda.
You are on the agenda, so I guess I'll let that slide. And you're here from Toll Brothers, correct?
Yes, sir. Good
Go
to
ahead.
see you again. Rich, Steve, how are you?
You just state your name and your title for the record.
Yes, Justin Hunt, team leader, for Toll
Toll
Brothers at Lister. Thanks for, allowing us to be here again, for the final time. In reference to agenda item 13.2, I just wanted to, briefly outline where we've come.
So Justin, if we can do this, because I do want to get the officers out here. When we get to the agenda item, how about I give you an opportunity? We'll put
Sure.
the motion on and I'll let you talk during then. Is that
Yep.
fine?
No problem.
Do then. Any other public comment for agenda items? All right, Chief Lunn, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here tonight to help present our Officer of the Year Award. Our Officer of the Year Award is named in honor of Sergeant Clinton Cunningham, who passed away unexpectedly back in 2018. Here tonight to help present the award is Kelly Cunningham. Their children are here tonight. Devin and CJ are here also. So this year's recipient is Patrolman Michael Martin. Mike was nominated for this award by his fellow officers. Those that nominated Mike had this to say about why they felt he was worthy of this award. Officer Martin brings a positive attitude to the work environment, works hard, shows a willingness to learn. Patrolman Martin consistently treats every member of the department and community he encounters with respect and dignity. Patrolman Martin is never hesitant to take control of any situation he encounters, whether it be a domestic related incident where tensions are high or something as simple as locating a lost dog for a community member. Patrolman Martin goes above the call of duty to ensure the residents are satisfied with police services, which is viewed as strong early leadership qualities. Officer Martin sets the standard of how every new police officer in this department should be through his professionalism, work ethic, and eagerness to learn. Officer Martin arrives to work with a positive attitude and is always professional and pleasant to be around. His positivity is infectious for those around him. He also has shown a proactive approach to incidents he is assigned. This style of work ethic is an outstanding trait for a young officer to have so early in his career. I believe Martin will be a huge asset in the growth of this police department. Even though Martin is a young officer within the department, he exceeds the 3 Ps: positive, professional, and productive. He's a guy who is humble and embraces criticism to be a better officer. So in recognition to his dedication to law enforcement, excellence in job performance, and his contributions to making the Newtown Township Police Department a better place, Michael Martin is Officer of the Year.
How are you? How you been? All right. See you. How you been? Congratulations. How are you? Good.
We should also mention that we have the Honorable Walt Wolf in the room as well tonight. Let's give a round of applause to that guy. There he is. And keeping the congratulations going, Detective Moore's daughter just got accepted to law school. So congratulations to him and that student loan. We look forward to having you here for another 40 years to pay off that tuition. Thank you. Washington. All right, now we'll go back to the agenda, section 7 minutes, 7.1. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the March 9, 2026 meeting?
Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor Chandler, seconded by Supervisor Grasso. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Section 8, resolutions of recognition. Resolution 2026-11, proclaiming Arbor Day 2026. Supervisor Chandler.
Resolution 2026-11 proclamation for Arbor Day, whereas trees reduce the erosion of our soil, mitigate stormwater issues, improve the quality of our air by producing oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. Whereas trees in our township increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business districts, and beautify the entire community. Whereas Newtown Township wishes to recognize the value of our trees in Newtown Township, to celebrate the role of trees in our lives, and to evidence our community's support of them. And whereas Newtown Township's Parks and Recreation Board is celebrating Arbor Day this year in light of our nation's 250th birthday by focusing on one of our treasured historical sites, the 1742 Square Tavern. Arbor Day celebrations will include the planting of new trees, providing a trail walk, which will focus on the species of trees found on its path, giving away small trees to Newtown Township residents who, by planting them, will help invigorate our tree canopy, and by partnering with our Newtown Square Historical Society to highlight the heritage of that property and the important role that trees have played there. Now therefore be it resolved that the Supervisors of Newtown Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, in regular session assembled on the 23rd day of March 2026, officially recognize Friday, April 24th, 2026 as Arbor Day, and proclaim that it shall be celebrated in the township by a community planting of trees and other activities in which all are encouraged to participate on that day and also on Saturday, April 25th, 2026, adopted March 23rd, 2026, and that is my motion.
Is there a second?
So moved.
Motion is made by Supervisor Chandler, seconded by Supervisor Russo. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. All right, 9.2, back to presentations. 9.2, update on the 1860 Bartram Bridge structural restoration project.
Good evening, George Sharitz, Director of Public Works. I wanted to share some information about how the Bartram Bridge structural rehabilitation project has been going. Thank you, James, for pulling that up. Most of the presentation are pictures because I realize not everybody can get there to see the project as it's going along. So I'll just explain quickly about it, and then Ed Johnson, who's the chair of the Joint Commission, is going to have a ask. So again, the Bartram Bridge was built in 1860. Goshen Road used to run through the bridge. Actually, you can move to the next slide. Thank you. So Goshen Road used to run through the covered bridge until 1941 when PennDOT built a new bridge next to it and they rerouted Goshen Road around it. After 1941, the bridge was abandoned and it sat there really other than cared for by some volunteers and community folks until the 1970s, 1980s, when it was donated eventually to the townships, both Newtown Township and Willistown Township, on the far side of the creek. In 1993, there was a joint commission by the two townships established, which advised the boards on the care for the bridge. So back in 2019, there was a structural report that was done. And we can move to the next slide. Thank you. It was a structural report that was done to talk about the timber work and the stone foundation work and the things that needed to be done. As was expected, there was a bit of structural work that was going to be necessary to preserve the structure. So both townships took the advice of the report that came in. We can actually scroll to the next couple and just hover on each for maybe a second or two. So the engineering report had plans, it had pictures of what the problems were, and it had recommendations on how to go about fixing them. The townships, both Newtown and Willistown, agreed, and we can hold there, thank you. The townships agreed to undertake the work to do the structural repairs of the bridge. It took a few years to get everything together, to get the fundings lined up, to do the public bidding. And in 2024, we were able to start with the foundation work, the stone work. And then this year, end of 25 into 26, we started with the timber truss work. Eastern Highway Specialists was the company that won the bid for this portion of the work. They submitted plans to the project engineer, Keith Marshall from Nave Newell, who's overseeing all the plans and doing the inspections for the work. You could scroll to the next one. Thank you. So the first thing that they sent over was the plan to jack up the bridge. So the bridge has to be elevated so that they could do the work of the foundation underneath where the wood meets the foundations. And I wanted to share a few pictures of that because it's impressive to see the beam that they had to put in and the side beams and then the ability to raise the entire bridge to be able to work on it. So if you could go through the next couple. And then the next one. Great. And then the next one. Thank you. So then they sent over the plans to do the actual timber work itself. And the next few pictures are going to show that work as it's been in process. Both arches, the ends of the arches where they meet the stone and meet the ground had to be replaced or repaired. The knee brace and lateral brace, the bottom cords, the timber planks, various wood components needed to be worked on. So we'll just scroll through. And James, if you could just spend about a second on each one and then go to the next.
And George, while we're going through these for
Yeah.
a second, that's sort of the little bit difference of our, I mean, we have the last covered bridge in all of Delaware County.
Yes.
Importantly, isn't there something with regards to the structure? I mean, those arches is unique with regard to the construction of that type of covered bridge. Isn't that also something that's also unique with that?
It is. So the way the bridge was built was unique. It's a truss bridge, Theodore Burr truss bridge. It's a very particular design of bridge. And yeah, Delaware County used to have over 30 covered bridges. This is the last one. So it's important that it's being preserved.
And when did it open? 1860?
Yeah, so 1860 it was opened, and again it was in active service until 1941.
So again, as we're going through this, I'll share a story that Doug Humes told me that.
We can hold on that, James.
I don't know if it's still visible or not. They discovered it, I think, soon after the first renovation, but there was graffiti on it that said, all the way from 1863, that said Lincoln Save the Union, that someone etched in there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's still in, I never asked Doug where exactly it was, but he was telling me that they discovered it when they did the first renovation, so many years ago.
It was interesting. It was originally painted on. So there's a lot of carvings on the bridge, both in the trusses and the other wood. But the Lincoln graffiti, as they call it, was painted on. And while that has kind of disappeared now, they're looking at ways of finding with ultraviolet light or black light or something, seeing if they could locate where it was and maybe reproduce it like on plastic or something. So there's a lot of history there. I should say any of the wood and any of the hardware that is removed from the bridge as this work is done, we're saving, because a lot of it has carvings over the years that have gone in. We don't know what we're going to do with it yet, but we know we don't want it to go to waste. We don't want it to wind up on eBay or something like that. So the two townships are maintaining all those things, and we'll find an appropriate use for them. Very quickly, I'll just share here. So one of the things a lot of people understand, because when they walk onto the bridge, they see the planks and they like the planks. They can't see a lot of the structure that we've looked at, but they can understand the planks that you walk on. Probably about 2/3 of them need to come out. When they were really carefully evaluated, they've deteriorated enough, they need to come out. But 1/3 of them are good and are going to be able to be reused. So there's white oak planks that are going in replacement of them, and then we're going to cluster the older ones together, stain the white oak so that it matches it. And we actually have rustic historic hardware we're going to be using to finish them off. So it'll be a nice look for the bridge. And James, you can actually scroll down a few more. Okay, you can go to the next one. So I'm pleased to report that the project is going very well. It had a very aggressive schedule. It started in January. They hope to be completely done the work that they're doing by Memorial Day. Even though January and February was horrible weather, we've been able to maintain that schedule very well. And they're even almost a little ahead of schedule. So things are going extremely well with it. The two township staffs work very well together. The engineer has been performing admirably, and the contractor, there's an obvious expertise and also a passion for the kind of work that they're doing. They really take it to heart, the work that they're doing. So it's a good project to be going on, and I'm pleased to report that it's going well. So first, before I turn it over to Ed Johnson for a moment, who wants to ask you about donations for the project. First, thank you for your support for it. This project has spanned two townships and multiple years, and both boards have consistently backed it over these years of development and implementation. So thank you. But second, now that folks are seeing the project happening and they're talking about it, especially the folks that live around there, it's an opportunity to energize the community a little bit. They could see into where the siding had been. One of the items that can garner real interest is the siding, the red siding that's on it. And that's not a part of the project that was ours. It's not a structural part of the project. And the cost, we weren't going to be able to take that on as well. But there has been discussion about whether that's the kind of thing that volunteers and donations can help to help make happen while we finish up this part. So to explain that, I'm going to introduce Ed Johnson, who's not only a Newtown resident, local business owner, but he's the chair of the Bartram Bridge Joint Commission. So Ed, if you can come up.
Hello, everybody. My name is Edward Johnston. I'm a local resident and building and remodeling contractor. Like George said, been with the bridge for about 12 years. So as you see, we're there. We're at the end of this project. Over the years, electrical, roofing, all the masonry, and now all this big beam replacement work. And the last thing that we have to do is the siding. And we're running into a problem right now where the contractor, he doesn't want to put the siding back. It's choppy, it's not good. And he's thinking about putting some plywood over those areas that has been removed. Anyway, I thought about it, that I would like my company to donate the installation of the siding for the bridge, and along with the Historical Society accepting donations. So what we're thinking is we get donations for paint, scaffolding, and of course the wood. And if the siding, and we don't know the specifics yet on how it's going to be done, we want to make sure that we're okay to do this before we move forward. But probably the ideal thing would be is the primer and paint, the planks on the ground and then install. And if there's any touch-up work to be done. I decided I wanted to do it for a couple of reasons. One, I've lived here forever. I've been with this organization forever, and I'm all in. And we know that we're not going to be able to get it done for a couple of years. Also, this year is the celebration of our 250th anniversary. And so there's a big push from the Historical Societies to try to wrap up projects. So that was it. I slept on it and I woke up and I thought, I want to do the bridge. And quite honestly, I do want to put the siding on the bridge.
Thank you. So the ask from Ed and from the folks at the Historic Society is, can the Historical Society accept donations with your blessing for materials for the bridge, for the siding? And can Ed and his company donate the labor to install them? And then obviously, with whatever parameters the township solicitor will be comfortable with, whatever paperwork's necessary. But are those two things permissible?
Board?
George,
I think it's a great idea.
have we talked to Willistown yet with
Yeah.
this, and what have they?
They're working on the same thought
Good,
tonight.
perfect.
Yeah.
It's tonight, right, George?
So they actually had a full agenda. They have to do it the next time.
Okay.
But they have already had some initial discussions on it, and they're on board with it as well.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you, George.
No objections from the board?
Nope.
All right, Ed. Thank you
Go to
for
town.
your 12 plus years on there and have fun with it. Also add too, if no one has ever been on the receiving end, Ed so Ed and I used to be neighbors, and Charlie McDowd, who was also a neighbor, they make little reindeer figurines out of logs. So, and snowmen too. So after seeing that craftsmanship, I have no problem with you touching an 1860 bridge. So you're good. You're good for it, Ed.
Yeah, just if I can just make a quick comment. Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you for the pictures, George. Thanks for the presentation. It was really helpful to see all the good work that's going into it. And if volunteers want to help, I thought I heard you say people can volunteer. Is that to help paint?
I don't think you would paint, because I've seen your painting.
I can do other
Let's
stuff.
make sure they're qualified.
Yeah.
I can stand.
Thank you for the question. So while everything is not formalized, there was discussion about the fact that, while experts would be the ones actually hanging the siding, there would probably be opportunities for folks to help paint, off on the side, the boards ahead of time. So we do imagine that there would be a volunteer component available to it. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, George, what do you think the timing would be in terms
Yeah.
of meeting those volunteers?
Sure. So Ed, I don't want to totally speak on your behalf, but I know if the bridge if the structural work finishes before Memorial Day, I think, Ed, you were initially thinking before July 4th to have the project done. Yeah. So we were waiting to kind of formalize things with the Historic Society about accepting donations, and Ed being allowed to make some phone calls until the blessing came from this group. So we're going to get working on that.
George, I'm sorry. Do you have an estimation cost of how much that you're looking to raise from donations?
So Ed has been working on the materials list. I don't think we have that final list yet, but I mean, it's paint and it's wood and it's the scaffolding and the, you know,
Okay.
the hardware for it. We will get that amount over to the board as soon as we have it together. But I know Eddie's been working on it. He's been finalizing the kind of wood he wants to use.
No, I think it's a great idea. And Historic Day, can somebody remind me when that is?
June 6th.
June sixth,
Yeah.
so,
It's a
First
combined-
Saturday of,
yeah.
first
Doing it
Saturday of
combined with
June.
Marple.
So that might be a way that you were mentioning to kind of energize the staff about, or the residents about all the great work that's been done.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. Section 10 reports, 10.1 report from the police chief. Chief Lunn, do you have anything to add? 10.2 report from the fire department. Chief Young, do you have anything to add? Thank you very much. 10.3 report from the public works department, Director Sharretts.
Nothing to add.
I do have a question though. You noted in there the sign damage that occurred from like snow plowing and stuff like that, that it is PennDOT's responsibility. I get it. We wanted to put that up there because of safety issues. Are we trying to recoup any of that? Like, what's the goal there?
We're going to analyze all of that. I mean, in some cases, we were able to just use a new pole and reuse the sign that was there. There was a handful of them, and I want to make absolutely sure, even though they were on Westchester Pike, that none of them landed within the signal plan,
Yeah.
which then there'd be an argument that it could have been ours. But yes, if there's anything significant, we are going to ask to recoup that.
Awesome, thank you. 10.4 report from the Public Codes Department, Director Rezcheck. Is he on? Nope, all right. 10.5 report from the Library Director, Ms. Caruso. Nothing, she's not on either.
She's in Florida.
She's in Florida, okay.
Thank you.
10.6 report from the Township Engineer, Mr. Johnson.
Good evening. I'll give a quick update on the Greer Park project, which is at this point well in construction. The site clearing is substantially done. The pond is drained down. And this week, the contractor is going to be working on scoping out the new waterway. And he is moving right along very well. Everything's going very smoothly. We anticipate to be done by June for the project.
Any questions for the Township Engineer? All right, Mr. Neese.
Yes, I have just a couple things. First of all, I want to bring your attention to the fact that we did receive Tree City once again from our 25 membership and also from our Arbor Day activities from last year. So we once again have received that, which is good. Also wanted to bring up Greer Park and as well as the bridge. Just mentioning that if the public happens to go to those areas, those construction areas are hard hat areas. And so they're really, we're asking that the public stay out. I understand there's fencing around and we stay outside the fencing area, please. We don't want anybody to get hurt. We understand people want to see what's going on. Feel free to stand on the outside of the fence and look in, but we are trying to make sure that nobody gets hurt with the equipment and the work that's being done. The other thing, just to let you know, we've been in communication and continue to be in communication with the PGA, working through that, all that's there. Hopefully, we'll be hearing soon some finalized plans of where they are with parking and all of those things that we can share. But, you know, Leonard and I have talked. It's really important that we don't get ahead of them. This is their project. This is their event. And we don't want to put out false information and have to repeat it or come back and put out different information because they haven't finalized something and we jump ahead of where they are. So we know people are getting anxious. My understanding is the PJ is getting ready to announce all their information. And so as soon as they're ready to do so, we'll help support them in getting the word out.
Any questions for the Township Manager?
Steve, have we talked to the PGA about when they think they will be ready to deliver that? We're getting close to the tournament. I know people are asking a lot of questions and I know the township's working really hard, you know, to coordinate what services we have to coordinate with them.
We're meeting again this week
Okay.
with them. We're kind of at the spot now. We're probably meeting, Andy's out there twice a week doing inspections and those kind of things. We're meeting at least every other week between different committees with them, just trying to see where things are. We'll continue to do so right up to the event. to give you an exact time when they're ready to pull the trigger, it's not my control. And it's, you know, we're thinking we'd love to get that information out, but I think they're still finalizing some things. And they don't want to start putting information out until they're really sure that's what it's going to be.
Right, and if residents have questions, is that gonna be on there? I would imagine during the tournament or during the event, there's gonna be.
As we have information, we will be putting it up on our website.
Okay,
My understanding is they're going to be really good about getting information out as well. And so we'll be doing our best to make sure. I know a lot of people have had questions specifically related to parties in their neighborhood that might be affected, not infected. Affected. We don't want them to get infected. But anyway, that would be, you know, if they address those with myself or with the police department, we will try to give you the best answer we can with what we know.
And Steve, with that said, there's common sense here also. So we know St. David's Road is going to be closed for a period of time.
Yes.
We've done the tournaments. People can get in and out of their neighborhoods. There's not going to be an issue with residents. Like, I think some people are just getting ahead of it and they're nervous, but we've done these kind of things before. State police, the PennDOT roads, things like that. Access, things like that is not an issue. And this is going to be low impact for the general area around Aronimink because the majority of the stuff is off campus, like Delaware County, Episcopal, things like that. So traffic, things like that, really not going to be big impact for the neighborhood of Aronimink from what we know in the past, right?
Yeah, look.
I mean, we don't I have to go into that
Yeah.
now, but I mean,
What
everybody's here.
yeah.
It's just not going to be.
What we've known in the past, what I can tell you is that the biggest concern that I've heard is that the school would still be in session and that we would have all these buses and stuff coming through. Episcopal Academy is closing for the week, so that's not an issue.
Right.
And so that alone is going to open up a fair amount.
Yep.
And the other question's been asked, 252 will be open.
Always.
You know, we're not closing 252. That's going to be open. We're pretty sure the road closures are as limited as possible. And then we're finalizing those. And once those are finalized and, you know, PGA puts those out, we'll be helping to get that word out.
Right.
We just nudge them along too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve.
Any other questions for the township manager? All right, section 11, payments 11.1. Can I get a motion to approve the first quarter payment to the Newtown Township Library in the amount of $60,875?
So moved. Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor Russo, seconded by Supervisor San Francisco. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion carries. 11.2. Can I get a motion approving a refund of $100 to AMDG Exterior Contracting for a permit review fee overpayment as recommended by the Township Codes Department? It was determined that a permit was not required for the proposed work. Motion is made by Supervisor Chandler, seconded by Supervisor Russo. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. 11.3, consider approving a refund of $2,800 to Brody Van Dagna Partnership for the Stormwater O&A Agreement Fund Payment for 4102 Westchester Pike as recommended by the Township Engineer. The agreement was withdrawn and therefore a refund payment was not needed.
Okay.
I know it says agreement. They're not doing it.
Project was withdrawn and therefore a refund payment was not needed. You're fine with that amended motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Supervisor Chandler, seconded by Supervisor San Francisco. Is there any board discussion?
I just want to make clear, a fund payment, not a refund. I know that it matters, but text of the motion just.
All right, it was withdrawn.
I-
All right, the project's withdrawn.
Because we're making the.
We're giving them their money
refund
back. All right, everyone happy with that? All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, motion carries. Section 12, bills. I've reviewed the bills, and so I'll make a motion to approve the bills on the 2025 check register dated March 23rd, 2026, totaling $64,563.57.
Second.
Motion was made by the chair, seconded by Supervisor San Francisco. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. 12.2, I'll make a motion approving the bills on the 2026 check register A dated March 23rd, 2026, totaling $404,139.60. Motion is made by the chair, seconded by Supervisor Chanlis. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 12.3. I will make a motion approving the bills on the 2026 check register B dated March 23rd, 2026, totaling $60,875. Motion is made by the chair, seconded by Supervisor Chanlis. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Section 13, developer release. 13.1, can I get a motion approving the letter of credit reduction number 1 in the amount of $76,265 to Thomas Pereira relative to construction at 3111 Sawmill Road, leaving a remaining balance of $665,696.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor San Francisco, seconded by Supervisor Chanlis. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. 13.2, can I get a motion approving? So what we'll do, Justin, is I'll make the motion and then I'll have you come up and present. Can I get a motion approving the final escrow release in the amount of $66,687 to Toll Brothers for listener final closeout as recommended by Stantec Consulting Services, contingent upon payment of all outstanding and forthcoming invoices, leaving a remaining balance of $0. Is there a motion? All right, Justin, so sounds like this is going to die, but I'll let you get up and make a presentation and then we'll take it from there.
Thank you. Leonard.
And again, just for the record, just name and title again.
Sure. Justin
Thank you.
Hunt, Toll Brothers Team Lead for Lissitor. And thank you for kindly calling me off. That was a much more better use of time than whatever I have to say here for the recognition of that young officer.
Well, you were sweating a little bit in front of all the cops, so I wanted to make you comfortable. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome stuff. So I just wanted to speak on 13.2 and then also just really call your attention to the difference between 13.2 and our other item later down in the agenda. 13.2 is labeled an escrow release, but as you all know, it's not a typical escrow release. There's no bond out there. If you remember, back in November 24, this board released all 4 bonds at Lissitor. And if you recall, sewer has been dedicated. Sewer is the only item other than the trail that's dedicated at the project. Nothing else gets dedicated. It's private roads. So this isn't your typical escrow release. It's not a final closeout, really. Contingent upon the board releasing the 4 bonds in November 24, the board allowed Toll to post cash for 4 trailing items to the tune of $66,000. Those 4 of which are complete. So that's what tonight's for, a return of a check. In addition to, since I was here last in November of 24, the Delaware County Conservation District has issued their notice of termination. So I no longer have a permit with DEP. We're finished. The 14 point, I can't quite read it, but that is the final.
That's not on the agenda anymore. Are you talking about the
Correct.
trail?
Rich and I spoke.
Yeah.
We agreed that
Okay.
one more signature needed to happen, so we can table that. But that's the story of the check return, and I would ask for the reason.
All right. We don't necessarily have a motion made and seconded, but I'll turn it over to board discussion and then depending on how the discussion flushes out, you all can dictate how you want it to go. Is there any board questions, comments, concerns? Or a motion?
You mentioned you've completed 4 things. They're all done.
Yes.
Do you mind just letting us know what those 4 things were? And then we did have a public comment about planting of the mature trees. Do you mind just providing a closure on that?
Sure. So back in November of 24, the township engineer at the time, Giovanna, issued a letter summarizing the 4 items and calling out the dollar amount, $66,687. So there are 4 items. There were 4 items. Pavers at the Route 252 entrance, a few of which needed to be replaced. The completion of the infiltration berms that meander throughout the project, particularly in the woods. The completion of 2 retrofits to, retrofits to 2 stormwater facilities, obviously, which is complete. I will say that was approved ahead of time by both DEP and the Conservation District, as well as Giovanna. And the approval of the as-built. So pavers, berms, 2 stormwater retrofits, and the as-built totaling $66,000. All 4 bonds were released in November.
I don't know. Does anybody from our township engineer look at that to validate?
So there's a separate township engineer on this that was with the project for a long time, Giovanna. And she looked at it. I spoke with her today. She wrote a letter to the township. She agrees that these 4 items are complete.
Do we mind just making one more comment about the trees, mature trees? Have they all been planted? We just got Tree City USA. We know we celebrate this. So can we just make a reference to that for some closure?
If it's even required, you can also
Yeah.
say it wasn't
Yeah,
required.
exactly.
What I would tell you is that the arborist has reviewed it. They've met all the requirements that they were required for plantings on their property.
Great. Thanks, Steve.
Any other comments from the board?
Just a quick question. So did that include planting of mature trees when you say, like, just so I know?
So whatever the plans called for, the arborist went back through. There were some, and they counted the number of trees that were to be planted, the types of trees that were to be planted. All of that was done. There were several, and I don't remember the exact count. I want to say there was probably close to 100 that had to be replaced because they had either died or not matured like they were supposed to, and they were replaced as required. I think that was done 2 years ago,
Yeah.
probably.
That was
two.
That was part of the bond.
That was part of the bond release. And so they all had been met as per required by the land development plan.
Justin, because you guys have a transitional HOA, does the HOA sign off on this too?
On,
I mean, like, are they in agreement with the punch list items? Like, there's no objection from the HOA?
we have a settlement agreement.
Again, I understand, settlement agreement, okay.
Yeah.
And I understand it's a transitional board, so.
Yep.
All right, what's the board want to do?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second? I'll second it just to see where we go with this. The motion has been made and seconded. For 13.2, approving the final escrow releasing the amount of $66,687 to Toll Brothers for listeners' final closeout. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Silence is no. Is that 3? So 2 to 3, motion fails. So well, I need something.
Yeah.
Can't just sit inside.
I will vote aye because I have no basis not to.
Right.
But but they've done everything. If as long as you're telling me that they've done
Townships-
everything that
The
they're required
township's
to do.
conflict engineer or the township's acting engineer on this project that was this project for a long time has been working closely with the developer and the township to make sure that everything was complied with. And as he said, the bonds have all been released. This is just that last 4 items it was relatively minor compared to what all the bonds were. There's 4 outstanding issues. They posted cash, and that's what they're requesting the release of.
I don't have the technical knowledge of what those are specifically, so I'm relying on.
Well, like for instance, as-built,
Yeah.
means when everything's done, they actually prepare a plan that says this is exactly where everything is, right? Sometimes you lay out a plan and everything's not exactly precise because they ran into a hole or some other engineering issue. They had to adjust something. So the as-built is an actual plan of what was actually built as it was built.
That gets recorded as well.
Yeah, and I would tell you that Giovanna has signed off on that. I think it was Friday, Thursday or Friday of last week. All of that was delivered to the office. I once again confirmed from Giovanna that she had reviewed those and that they were all okay, and she said yes.
We also have a letter from her dated March 17th as well, right?
Yep.
Correct.
I mean, I think the frustration from the board perspective is that she's not here.
She had a conflict.
She had a conflict.
It's a big company, right?
Mhm.
I mean, it's, I mean, I don't take that lightly. I get that frustration from the board. So,
Or everything we see out there now, old entrance that's got a gate and crap just laying there, that's the way it's staying. I mean, my frustration is, she's not here, and we have everybody representing the HOAs here, we're not saying he didn't do his job.
Okay.
But it is a big project. And that's my frustration.
so I think technically, do we have to vote on that again? I mean, I did say it died, so do we need to do the motion and go through it again? I mean, is there any other discussion that we want on this?
Well, I mean, does the HOA represent it? I mean, we have no reason to believe that they have any issue, right? I mean, the HOA hasn't come to you and said that they think something's missing?
Sure has not come to.
Nor to me. I mean, there was a period that was the case, but
Right.
as far as I know, everything's been addressed.
What's the issue at the main gate? No, I'm saying, what is there?
And it looks unfinished.
The one from Goshen Road or from?
The old
52?
entrance to the estate was off the corner of Goshen,
Oh, yeah,
252,
where the Square Tavern is right there.
across from that. And it's just, I don't know if the HOA's plan on fixing this. I'm not sure who's doing what, but I don't know. And again, Giovanna's not here to ask her a question. I'm not saying he didn't do what he said on his forward list items. I don't have the list in front of me. Maybe he did his list and that's okay. And maybe the HOA is responsible for that, but I just don't know. Can't ask Giovanna, she's not here. So
Do you have any insight on any of
I
that?
just wanna
I
make
mean, I
sure-
know it's not, I know it's not associated to the escrow, but out of curiosity, do you have an answer to it?
The plan doesn't call for anything to happen.
Okay.
So the HOA certainly could choose to do something.
So
It's their
they're
problem.
leaving the pavement, but there's no way to drive on the pavement because you have the gate like kind of finalized in place. And okay. Mr. Neese, I just want to be very clear to Stantec, if they were planning on coming here for any hearing again, we want to know who's coming in advance, and we want to know why, if they're representing the township, they don't have a representative here. This is one of the reasons why we don't have them here as an engineer. I'm not happy. Not at this gentleman, it's not his fault, but it's unacceptable. We're paying them, they're paying them, whoever's paying them, but they should have been here to tell us this on a huge project like this, that there's a lot of people see it, a lot of people have complaints over the years, both internally, externally, and to finalize a project out and give him his money back, which I'm not saying he doesn't deserve, again, but they should have had somebody here. That's my frustration.
And if there is debris or anything in front of that main gate, I haven't noticed it. I'm not saying it's not there, but if
Well, no,
there's
there's
debris,
not debris, it's just not finished, like, nobody, if you're not gonna use it as an entrance anymore, why would you leave the pavement, I mean, the trail goes around the corner, so like, why would you leave the pavement there on both sides of it, yet no one's ever driving in there, it's kinda like, I don't know if it's chain locked, welded locked, whatever it is, but they're not using it, so I don't know how an engineer could have blessed that and say, yeah, just leave it like it is. I mean, they did a beautiful job every place else except at the main entrance, the old main entrance, all I'm saying. But again,
is it a
I'm
service?
not saying he didn't do his 4 items, because again, I don't know the 4 items, I forget what they were.
Okay.
That's why I'm voting no, not for what I'm saying, but the fact the engineer's not here.
Would it be helpful to put this off 1 month and, no,
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
No,
Okay,
I'm
but
not, I'm
it's-
not saying that's required, I'm just going on the record saying I'm unhappy. The fact we're signing off on something and Stantec's not here, or representative's not here. And not to say he didn't work very hard to get his close out, which seems like he has. So I'm not mad at you, please don't take my frustration out, my frustration's at Stantec.
So this was signed on the 17th. What do we have, 30 days? And the motion technically died.
Well, it's
No.
3-2.
Well, I called.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you guys approved it, 3-2, it's fine. That's my reason for voting no.
Does the board, I mean, like I said, the motion technically was dead, so we're gonna vote on it again. If the board wants to see if we can get someone from Stantec again,
I would just revote it and go from there because I think Stantec's gonna do the same thing.
Yeah, they're not gonna show up.
They're not gonna show up, so
They're
let's
not
just,
gonna show up.
let's just vote.
You don't-
They don't have to.
Yeah, I understand that every time we ask that, I'm saying,
I asked her if she was going to be here. She said she had a separate meeting tonight.
We have the answers, so let's just vote.
All right. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
All right, and I'll second the motion again. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 3-2 now. All right. Thank you,
Thank
Justin.
you all.
Take care. Section 14, new business 14.1. Can I get a motion approving the conditional offer of employment for a new hire in the police department at an annual rate per police contract contingent upon passing all required testing?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor San Francisco, seconded by Supervisor Russo. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. 14.2, consider approving the special event permit fee waiver request from Friends of the Library for the Once Upon a Run 5K event on April 19, 2026, totaling $275, as well as all fees associated with the following for a total of $2,353.54. Police officers, 2 officers for 4 hours of extra duty, and 2 police cars, $1,399.50. Public Works employees, 2 for 4 hours of overtime each, $679.14.
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
motion is made by Supervisor Russo, seconded by Supervisor Grasso. Is there any board discussion? I just want,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to Cindy Young, who's here on working with the township and getting the original number down. We believe that this is a good number. We're still providing the emergency services that we need to provide, allowing to have an amazing event come into this community that's going to benefit our amazing public library. So we thank you not only for working with us on that, but more importantly for the broad shoulders you have in carrying this event to fruition. I'm a little upset that you're not here in the Snow White outfit, but
Yeah.
I'll let that slide.
I don't think your husband is, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We got one in you to
I mean,
book
he
tonight.
comes
We
in
don't
his
need another
store,
one.
why can't you come in yours? I mean, come on. But I think I speak for the board to say we're all excited. We're looking forward to it. We'll have a table there. So we're excited.
Yeah, I was just gonna echo that. Thank you for all your hard work. Looking forward to it. I haven't picked out my costume yet, but I promise to have one and I will probably be in the walking section. But just real quick, we know that there are some tree safety issues and some maybe issues. Can somebody just evaluate the sidewalks and the trees, just to make sure that the event goes off
Well, I believe the run is gonna happen in the road.
on Campus
So, on
Boulevard?
Campus
Yeah.
Boulevard, and
Okay.
I've been there recently. I'm pretty sure that the Campus Boulevard and Stony Brook and the other roads that we're gonna be on are in pretty decent shape for this
Yeah.
run.
I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, we just want to make sure that it's a fun, safe event.
And let's remember, people make public comment without sometimes knowing the whole picture and everything else. So it's great that we have people public comment, they can say what they want. But we know our Public Works Department and everything else in the township will make sure every event we have, not just this one, a safe and great environment. And Cindy, I know, works with everybody here. Some people just don't know the whole picture of what goes on in this township when events and just things go on. There's perception and then there's reality.
Right, but I think it's our job here to make sure that we
Oh,
answer questions.
Well, we don't, public comment, but sometimes public comment is someone's own personal opinions, not fact.
The only thing I'll add is I've never been put on notice about the fact that there's an ADA issue there. And I'll say that if we live in a situation with regards to fear of trees falling down, then I don't think we would ever leave our house. I mean, I think the trees that came down that were described were because of the storm that happened. So all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. 14.3, consider approving signing a 10-year agreement with the Delaware County Bureau of Elections to continue offering the drop box in Newtown Square, subject to the review and approval of the township solicitor.
Second.
Motion was made by Supervisor, right?
Chandler.
Thank you. Supervisor Chandler, seconded by Supervisor Grasso. Any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. 14.4, consider approving summer employment hours for administrative employees.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Supervisor San Francisco, seconded by Supervisor Grasso. Mr. Neese, this is pretty cut and dry, but I don't want people to think this is going to affect the hours of operation with regards to the
Yeah.
township. So I think it's just important for you to just touch on.
Yeah, so we actually did something similar last year. We don't close the office early. We don't close the office one day a week. The office is still open for everyone to come in and do business as usual. But what we do is allow the employees to work longer hours, and then we split them up. And what we've determined is that we will allow people to either take off a Monday or a Friday in a 2-week time period. And so they could take off one Friday and the next Monday if it's in 2 different pay periods. And we'll let them do that. And they can either work 10-hour days or 9s with 1/8. And so, but for the average person who comes into the window, they probably won't even notice that there's a difference, other than maybe the person who they're used to seeing at the window isn't there because somebody's covering for them, because it happened to be the day that they're taking.
Any other board discussion?
I would just like, is this, I take it Memorial Day through Labor Day?
It is Memorial Day through Labor Day, Memorial Day week, Labor Day week, and 4th of July week. We don't do that because of the holiday. And so it makes it harder to make sure we're covered in the office if we do it, so we don't do that.
Great. I think it's a great idea for employee satisfaction. So I'm glad the township is doing it personally.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Section 15, public comment. Anybody has any public comment, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Move down to section 6.
Gabrielle Bruno, 116 Stony Brook Boulevard. Paul, my name is Gabrielle. You're welcome to use it if you'd like to address me personally, as that comment was clearly noted. Leonard, I offer you an apology for the comment that I made earlier. I was just speaking fast. Wasn't intended the way it was received, mea culpa. Thank you, Mr. Neese. You spent a long time with me Thursday after the zoning hearing, helping me understand how the township works, and I do appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Altieri, for calling me Friday and asking to get together to teach me a little bit more about how the township gets together. Thank you, Ms. Grasso, for at least addressing some of the concerns. I guess I'll just say 2 comments. I know it's been a long meeting. First, I ask you to consider, I noticed that we have the Zoom capabilities and that Mr. Russo has joined online, some of the other workers have joined online, and yet the public isn't invited to participate from an online standpoint. I know your mission, one of the parts of it is encouraging communication, and I'm a little under the weather. I would have liked to have joined online. I know it's nice to be in person, but I would appreciate if you might consider the inequitability of having certain members allowed to participate online, yet the public restricted from participating online. We could certainly watch via YouTube, but it would be nice to have the same abilities that you all have. Second, I was at the zoning board hearing on Thursday. I would encourage you to appoint a woman to the board. It's an all-male board, and in 2026, it's a little out of the ordinary. I know it's based, I guess, on applications is what I was told. I don't know how that works. I'm sure it's been posted somewhere, but I do just put that before you. And then finally, the last 2 things, I guess I should address your comment, Mr. San Francisco. The comment about the sidewalk isn't perception. It's not a facade. I live there. I've stood on the ground with Mr. Neese. I know the ground well. The sidewalk isn't safe. And while the road is in the street, and I understand that, I do hope, as Ms. Grasso noted, you'll take into consideration either fixing the sidewalk before then, which I presume is impossible, or maybe putting up tape or something. It is not even ADA compliant. I'd be happy to meet any of you there to look at it. It is over an inch that the sidewalk dips below the curb, and the wall, the pieces you can pick apart, along with the drainage isn't done right, but that shouldn't affect the run. Pardon me, I'm overcoming a cold. Finally, I wanted to again ask the board to consider including an invocation in its routine agenda. I know that Leonard has denied it in person to me and here for the board. I put before you the fact that I am here for you. Your success is my success. You're the leaders of our town. You're the leaders of where I live. Your successful leadership makes the place where I lay my head at night to go to sleep a better place for all of us. When our officers, the police officers that were here, go out every day to protect us. I was speaking with Michael's mom, and I don't know who the other lady was. He said, I want you to know I pray for you as policemen. And she was so grateful. And I don't have moments of silence for the policemen. That wouldn't do much. But a prayer matters, and an invocation matters. The Bible says, blessed is a nation whose God is the Lord, and that touches each and every one of our towns and our cities and our counties. And the Bible also says that the Lord looks at what each and every one of us do. Yeshua says, if you deny me to men, I will deny you to my Father. And I'm asking you, I know Leonard's spoken, but you are all created equal. So I believe on this board, and I pray that you won't give a response tonight, but that you might actually go home and think about and pray about whether there's a way to incorporate an invocation in this meeting to take the onus and the control off of our shoulders, off of your shoulders, and to ask the Lord for his blessing and his help. The book of Ezekiel says, if you're a watchman and you see something and you don't say something, the blood is on your hands. So I'm just asking you to pray about it, because from my perspective, and this is perspective, Paul, I don't know that the accident that happened last week was just a happenstance. It was a mature tree that fell on a worker. OSA is currently looking, and the only thing they could say is this is a freak accident, and they haven't ruled that it's necessarily from that storm. But even if it were from the storm, there is a God who creates the storms. And I ask you, before judgment would come to our land, our city, before we would start to see anything bad happen, that you would not remove a blessing from the people of Newtown Township, and that you would seriously, authentically consider putting an invocation into our meetings to invite Almighty God into our township to bless you and to bless us. And I ask that from the bottom of my heart, out of love. I don't ask that to try to trap you. I don't ask that to try to pigeonhole you. I ask that because I believe it with my whole heart, and I live here and I'm a constituent, and that's my public comment. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Name and address for the record.
Nathan Glazer, 3538 Cayley Road. I really hadn't planned on saying anything tonight, but the last speaker really gets my ire up. This is a secular institution.
Look at me, look at me.
We have separation,
Talk to us.
we have separation of religion from state. We don't need this. If the Almighty wants to do something, he or she will do whatever is needed or wanted. But it doesn't belong here. There are enough people at the national level trying to distort American government and try to insinuate religious practice into what it should be governmental practice. It annoys me. I'm part of a religious minority, and I've seen this happen before, and I will not sit down and be quiet if I hear it again.
Keep talking.
If you want to
Nate,
pray,
Nate,
pray
address us.
somewhere else, but
Nate.
not here.
Address us. I wasn't cutting you off. I was just saying address us.
No, it's offensive.
Keep
to
addressing us.
insinuate
All right,
into this
Nate.
body.
Just keep, yeah, I get it. You got to address it to us though.
Well, the speaker was offensive to me, to what they said to you.
Any other public comment? Board comment.
So I have one board comment. The Zoom, just to go with Zoom and stuff like that. That's a great option we have for the township. Many townships and school districts don't do it. I like that they keep that as view only. People want to come out in public, they need to come out here and speak, but we have that opportunity for everybody to come and watch the meetings and rewatch them, and we keep them online. So I want to make sure we have that option, but do not have the option for public comment on Zoom, because you never know who is online. You don't know if they're a resident. They have to be here and present. And we know during COVID, we had many people spam the Zoom when they come on. You just don't know who lives in the township if they're on Zoom. When they come out here, we can verify their address, their physical being, things like that. But I like the option of Zoom for view only.
And Paul, I would just like to add to that people can always email public comment as well if they can't be here in person. Not anymore?
No,
No.
they can email us, but it's not part of public.
For
comment.
questions
Yeah,
and stuff like
yeah,
that, but
yeah.
not, but
And we do have, the policy does have or the resolution, whatever we did, I forget, does allow for if you are like you have like a serious health condition that prohibits you from being able to come out, there is an exception for that. But what we have here is not only consistent, but actually a little bit further expanded than what a lot of other municipalities have. You know, a lot of them have moved away from the, actually, I don't know, and I practice across the Commonwealth. I don't know many of them that still allow, there's one that I can think of, East Whiteland, and that allows for people to participate, I believe, via Zoom. And to Paul's point about the spam, at both times that I've been in there, this is, and you can Google this is the thing that's happening now, is that it's been hacked and they have displayed inappropriate images that gets broadcasted, video and imagery out there. But there is a carve out for individuals who are infirm. Any other board comment?
Hey, I just have one follow-up for Kathy, because I drove on Munger Avenue just this week with my husband. Again, almost an accident there, where I had to stop. I know that they were coming before zoning hearing, and then it got held. I'm trying to remember all the details, but is there,
The one on Munger actually was heard on Thursday.
okay. Is there something we're trying to do there, though? I think, Kathy, your point was a stop sign or something. Yeah.
Something, or.
I think we left the last meeting that we were going to be looking into it. I have someone in my office who had looked at it and was going to be going out to do the
Oh,
field
perfect.
measurements. So like, we are looking at that topic.
Thank
I
you.
think we had talked about if the stop sign was untenable for some reason,
Right.
possibly just better signage for the people coming out of that shopping center so that
Yeah.
they
Correct.
know
That's
that they don't have the right of way, because they're just kind of.
correct. That was, I kind of, have someone in my office looking at it, and a stop sign was, I said, one of options that could be considered. Yes.
Great, thank you.
Any other board comment? All right, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone.